On April 18th, 2020, my dad saw some interesting things in the rail yards around Kansas City, and I decided to go with him later in the day. But we start in Argentine Yard, where we see a Ferromex locomotive and a lash-up hauling steel. Here is engine 2943, a GP39-2 built new for the Santa Fe. There were two BN green diesels in the middle of the yard. One of them is number 1827, an SD40-2 built in 1977. These engines were at the fueling pads. Number 7362 is an ES44 DC built in 2009. While number 5237, a C44-9W, was built in 2002, is the engine in the middle. The third train at the fueling pads was carrying these Herzog ballast hoppers. At the locomotive sidings, we see number 558, a war bonnet-clad B40-8W. In front of it is Norfolk Southern 8117, an ES44 AC built in 2012. Two war bonnet C44-9Ws, both built in 1997, were parked nose to nose. Behind it is the Slug that I saw a month ago. Number 606 is a former Santa Fe C44-9W that remained unpatched until it was repainted in 2016. It would have made a perfect candidate for preservation. And inside of this shed, which I believe is for washing, is another former Santa Fe locomotive. This is what my dad saw earlier in the day, a whole bunch of auto racks stored in the Union Pacific yard. As expected, with less people buying cars, there was less need for auto rack traffic. I even managed to catch a UP coal train going by. For the second loaded coal train waiting in the yard, led by an SD70 ACE and AC44CW. Now we move on to the Kansas City Southern yard. Kansas City Southern had a lot of locomotives stored in their Knoche yard, but quite a few Progress Rail EMDX Tier 4 diesels were still sitting in the yard. With Kansas City Southern still road testing this large fleet, I'm pretty sure they might end up buying some of these Tier 4 locomotives for themselves. Or maybe not, because Burlington Northern leased a lot of SD60s and narrow-nosed Dash 8s back in the day. There was also a Kansas City Southern to Mexico Gray unit, number 4517, which I believe is a Dash 9. There are even locomotives flowing into the other part of the yard, which rarely happens. And Kansas City Southern does deal with a lot more freight from Mexico than any other railroads, so that's probably why they have a whole bunch of locomotives stored, because they don't have enough freight from Mexico like normal. I also noticed parked along the other locomotives is Kansas City Southern number 4006, the Veterans Unit. Although this SD70 ACE was built in 2005, it did not gain its Veterans Unit livery until late 2018. This was actually the second time I've seen this locomotive as a Veterans Unit. This was also the first time I've seen Kansas City Southern's ET44 ACs. Kansas City Southern currently has 25 of them, and they were first built in early 2019. And the same hundreds of old locomotives are still in storage at UP's Neff yard, including UP 2319, an SD60M built in 1990. It originally wore the number 6234. There are also quite a few interesting things seen around Mid-America Car Inc., including a war bonnet. Number 1792, a former Burlington Northern SD40-2, is now in BNSF Orange, at the time of publishing this video. Number 2830 is a former Burlington Northern GP39M, which was originally built in 1963 as a GP30 for the CB&Q. PRLX number 671 is a former CSX AC6000 CW, which was built in 1999. It was sold off in 2018 with relatively new paint with the boxcar logo. I believe this unit might end up being scrapped for parts. One of the EMDX Tier 4 demonstrators is also in Mid-America Car Inc.'s yard. Number 2801 is also a GP39M, but it was originally built for the Union Pacific in 1962. Number 1572, an ex-Belt Railway of Chicago SW 1500 was still there. It was originally built for the Penn Central. And that does it for this edition of Trains Around Kansas City.